Hello again. Man, that was a really long day at the range. So I've been doing more load development for the Swiss K31 now that I've got it scoped, and it's the shoulder problem, pinched nerve, not the actual shoulder. And so I've just come home and I haven't had a beer yet, so I'm having an EMU export. It's a West Australian beer, very popular over there. Good on a hot day. It's got quite a crisp bitterness. Pardon me. So, what do I have to report? Well, I have been having one slight issue, and that is I've been having some light primer strikes, and it's not many, it's just one or two here and there, but last week it was, or yesterday, it was, yesterday it was a lot more, and the week before it was a lot more. So I don't know if the spring on this, in this bolt, needs replacing or what, because God knows how long it was sitting cocked for, because when you remove it, it cocks. So because it's a cock on open. I think. Is it a cock on close? It doesn't matter, when you take the bolt out, it's cocked anyway. So I decock it, my bolts, like all my bolts, when I store them, put them in storage. If I'm not going to be using the gun in the next few days, I always decock the bolts. So I've been just the odd primer strike. I know it's not the primers, because I just recock it and bang. One today took 3 hits, but it went off. Let's see. So I'll get rid of this stand. Oh, gun vise. And man, this thing's heavy. So chamber flag, it's empty. So might use this to prop it up. Like that. Yeah, so what can I tell you? Oh, well, that didn't work. What can I tell you? I'll tell you what I can tell you. In the past that I've said that PPU ammo was poo-poo, and nothing's changed. Cheers. So last week I shot off 60 rounds of PPU ammo, which is, where's the box? I just grabbed the box. So it's, and this stuff is supposed to replicate, what is it, GP11? I think the round is called, the Swiss military round, or GP90, or I don't know which one is supposed to replicate. It's supposed to replicate the Swiss round, and the Swiss ammo, Swiss military ammo, is supposed to be like premium ammo. It's supposed to be really shit hot stuff. So this is supposed to replicate that. The Swiss ammo is supposed to be shit hot. This is not shit hot, this is just shit. So it's not, it works, but the inconsistency, like I measured the comparative overall length on the ogive with the 8-30 comparator tool, Hornady comparator tool, pardon me, to see what the bullet setting was like, because that's really the only thing that I can alter without pulling the bullets and reweighing the powder, which I probably should have done, because there was a 30,000 spread between the shortest comparative overall length and the longest comparative overall length. That's a lot. did it significant, but what I did was I reseeded it, because one strange thing about this is supposed to replicate military ammo. I don't think I've ever experienced military ammo that wasn't crimped at the mouth. And these rounds were not crimped at the mouth. They were not crimped at all, which might go some way to explaining why they've got such a variance in comparative overall length in bullet seating. It's really, I can't get 170, and these, so a 174 grain full metal jacket is what the Swiss ammo had. It's what these guys are putting in their ammo, so it's exactly the same bullet, I believe. I can't get 174 grain 308 full metal jacket boat tail. So these guys were using boat tail bullets back 1911, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, which is, yeah, that's pretty much ahead of its time. Pardon me, I need some more beer, it's hot. I don't know if the later ammo that this is, I think this is supposed to replicate the later ammo, so we're probably talking, yeah, 30s maybe, but even that, using boat tails back then, yeah. I don't know if anyone else was. So here's the results of the PPU. So I reseeded all the bullets. Oh man, this shoulder of mine. And what did I get? I mean, they're all over the place. So this is at 100 meters, so 110 yards. So take 10% off all of these measurements, and you get what the yard measurement is. So 1.6, so it would be, yeah, so it would be 1.5 at 100 yards. But anyway, at 100 metres, 1.6, 2.2. I'll go through this real quick because there's nothing to write home about. 2.1. And then, minute of barn, 4.5. And then 4, 2.2, 2.9 and 2.9, 3.9, 1.9, 3.6, 4.5. Yeah, it's just, that ammo is rubbish. My suspicion is that, I don't know, yeah, I don't know. I should have taken it. I should have gone to all the lengths of pulling the bullets and recharging with the powder. But they might just be they might just be utilising a really shit powder. Well, I don't know what, military powder, or I don't know. Anyway, yesterday, what did I do? Yeah, so yesterday I shot the PPU ammo, and, or last week, sorry, not yesterday, and also last week I had some 178 grain Hornady ELDM, which looked promising. So I started off with 43 grains of AR2209, which is hydrogen 4350. So again, so that's MO8, because 1.1, take away 0.11 and you get one. So that's MOA, that one there. 1.5, so that's with 43 grains. So that's promising. Then 43.5 grains went to 2.5. I don't know why. Then with 43.5 grains again, I had 10 rounds of each in half grain increments. So 1.1, so that's 1 MOA again. So 43 and 43 and a half. 43 looks good. 44 grains, 1.6 and 1.9. So spreading out a bit. 44 and a half grains, 1.1 and 2. So I'm getting MOA groups, but not consistent. 1.7, 2.6 of 45 grains. 45 and a half grains, 1.8, 1.1. Yeah, go figure. You know, go figure. And pretty much all of these groups, except for the first group of the day, all the rest are either with a hot barrel, a really hot barrel, or a smoking hot barrel. Because this full wood covering just insulates that barrel. And, you know, we're talking about Switzerland. You know, they never had heat wave problems or heat problems. Cold mountain air is what they got, and they don't have that problem. Here, yes. So 46 grains, 2.3, and so this was the cold and clean barrel. So the first group with a cold and clean barrel was 1.2, and the second one was 2.3. And then I thought, well, I'll let it cool down, and it didn't make any difference. 2.6 there, 3 rounds at about 0.8, and then those two over there just sort of chucked it out of whack. Then, so that's last week. Then today, so I had to go to work, and then when I came back, I made up. So what I've got here, so 150 grain Hornady SSTs. I thought I'll try a lighter weight projectile. Why not? You know, you've got to experiment. You know, if you want to find out what's going on. And so you would think if the rifle is designed for a 174 grain full metal jacket, that something around the 170 to 180 grains is the bullet weight that is going to be the premium accuracy ammo. Well, not necessarily. Like 150 grain SSTs with Hodgdon 4350 again, which is AR2209 here in Australia. So that was actually the first group, I think. Yeah, it was. Because then I corrected. So it was 2 and 1.6. So this is like 24 grains lighter than the normal bullet weight. Then with 47 grains, 47 grains, 1.2, then with 48 and 49, yeah, I don't know, it was all over the place. You got me. So, didn't really, wasn't really what I was expecting, or I don't know what I was expecting. So then, I had, and I've got to order more of these bullets, but I'll have to get them online because none of the shops have got them, which are 175 grain Sierra Match Kings. So this is with Hodgdon 4350 again, 2209. So we got, and these, so I had 5. What I did was I just wanted to see if crimping had any real, if it really did indicate a difference in groups, whether with crimped cartridge, uncrimped cartridge. So the one with the C is the crimped. So crimped 1.7, uncrimped 2.7. So you think, oh yeah, all right, it looks like crimping does something. Crimped 1.8, uncrimped 1.2. So that's the opposite. So that's essentially MOA. and that's with 43 grains. 44 grains, crimped 1.1, uncrimped 1.4, so not that much difference. So 44 grains of 4350 with a 175 grain Sierra Match King, very, very, very promising. So what I'll do is I'll leave out the ones that are really, really promising, and then, yeah, 45 grains, 2.1, 1.5, 46 grains, 1.4, 2.4. Yeah, not really all that promising. The one load where both groups were pretty good is that. And I'll go through them again. I'll go through the ELDMs. The ELDMs, which one was probably that? BPD, that was just poo. Now, when I was at the range last week, I was talking to one of the guys there, Rick, about developing loads for this and trying to figure out what it liked, and he said, oh yeah, what powder are you using? And I said, well, I'm using AR2209, which is pretty much the only powder that I've got that's in the two books, handloading books that I use. And he said, yeah, so it's all slow powders. And I said, yeah, it is. And he said, why don't you try a faster powder? And I said, yeah. Well, the two main powders that I've got any quantity of are Varget and H4350, which are AR2208 and AR2209 respectively. So I thought, and I was having a look at cartridges with a similar sort of volume, which is like video 6. I just want to see what the difference in what the spread was between using Varget and 4350, and it was like a 9 grain difference, and I was like, well, I don't want to blow this thing up. But no, so I started really light in the charge, and but even like at the top weight, charge weight, there's no difference in what the primer profile is like. It's not flattened. There's no cratering of the primer punch hole. There's no indication of pressure, excessive pressure at all. So these are 150 grain Hornady SSTs again, but using Varget AR2208. So with 40 grains I got 1.5, with 41 grains I got 1, so that's sub MOA with 41. With 42 grains 2.1, spread out, and with 43 grains 2.1, 44 grains 2.7. The other, I know where the other bullet hole was, it was down just off the page. So it would appear that 41 grains of Varget, ignore that hole, that's a separate hole altogether. Or actually that might be part of that group, I don't know, but anyway, that's promising. That's with 41 grains, that's 5 rounds. But the really promising one is, well, I like these Sierra Match Kings, 175 grain Sierra Match Kings. That looks good. The 178 grain ELDMs, yeah, it's a toss up between those. So they're the sort of ones that I'm looking at. So what I will do is, actually, yeah, so I bought some more bullets I couldn't get any more 175 grain Sierra Match Kings, but what I do have is 190 grain Match Kings. So what I want to do is try an even heavier bullet, see how that goes, see how that stabilises, and I've got more of the 150 grain SSTs. Yeah, because this this rifle seems very tolerant of different weight projectiles. It's not picky, because I'm going all the way from 178 grain ELDMs, and that's 1 MOA, down to 150 grain SSTs, and that's MOA. So it's enjoyable that it's throwing up more possibilities, and it's extending the journey, if you know what I mean. Like, half of the enjoyment of going somewhere is the actual process of going the trip. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you're going somewhere, you're enjoying the anticipation of going there, and you're on your way, and there's this I don't know how you describe it. There's a real euphoria involved in that, and then once you get there, it's a bit of a letdown. Well, not a letdown, but it's somewhat deflated by the fact that you've gotten there. And this is what this trip is. This whole journey with this rifle is like. It's still, my anticipation is still there. My hopes are still there. I'm still keen to see what it's going to throw up next with these other projectiles that I'm going to try. Ultimately, it would have been really nice if the first batch of ammo that I made just shot lights out, and right, got it down pat, first pop. It's pretty rare that happens. It's very rare that happens. So, well, not necessarily rare, but you know what? With modern sporting rifles, you can pretty much, and where you know what the twist rate is, you can pretty much know exactly to a reasonable guesstimate what that rifle's going to like. With these old military rifles, in theory, the 174 grain, full metal jacket should be it. But man, if you can get those things, please send them to me. Let me know. I'll give you my address, and you can post them to me, because I can't get them for love or money. In fact, someone just told me recently that one of the stores that I shop at in Townsville had full metal jacket 303 bullets, so 311 bullets, and I was like, yeah, okay, well, I wish that had happened earlier, because I don't know why. Well, it seems to be happening everywhere. This shortage of powder, primers, bullets, brass, shortage of everything. So when I get the opportunity to stock up on something that's quite hard to get a lot of the time, I do. So I stocked up on 303 Spear hot cores. I think I bought 3 boxes of them, so 300 bullets. But I don't know, I might actually, in fact, I completely forgot about it. I was at the shop today when I bought these. So I've got to go away for 2 weeks. Monday, today's Saturday, so tomorrow I'll just be preparing to go to work and maybe mow the front lawn. And so you're not going to know what happens, or I'm not going to know what happens until I come back in a couple of weeks, make up some more ammo, and see what turn this road takes. That's this journey of establishing a good accurate load for this rifle. You know, I want to be able to establish a good, accurate, consistently accurate load. And right now, I mean, it's sort of really hard to tell, but there's a fair bit of inconsistency. But going from like 150 grain with Varget, that's with 40 grains and 41 grains, looking good. 41 grains looking good. 175 grain Match King, 44 grains, looking good. 178 grain ELDMs with 4350 AR2209, looking good. So they're all looking good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try 2 different loads with more SSTs and then with 190 grain Match Kings, and I'll try loads with Varget AR2208 and with Hydrogen 4350 AR2209 and see what happens, because I didn't have a problem with it's not that big a cartridge, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not a massive cartridge. That it is a fat cartridge. It's a bigger diameter than the 30-06 308 family of bullets, which are copies of the 7x57 Mauser. So I'll try that. I might take the bolt apart and just have a look at the spring. Maybe I need to shim it. I'll see if that's possible, or I'll go online and see if I can buy a replacement spring. Who knows? Brownells might have one, or maybe not. I don't know. I've got to go online and research it. Scope's fantastic. My Delta Titanium. What can I say? The triggers, without doubt, I don't care what anybody says, that is the best trigger on a military rifle that you will ever get. It is superb. Any military trigger that is under 2 pounds or under 3 pounds, that is just over 2 pounds, that trigger, that is, you don't get sporting rifles with those triggers, you know what I mean? Actually, yeah, you do. So I'm at the gun shop and I'm having a look around. I always check out, you know, one of the gun shops. I always have a look around, see what they've got in stock, you know. And there was one rifle that I was interested in. So I've still got my Persian Mauser to come, and I'm still waiting for my second PTA for it. Yeah, I think I told you about that. But anyway, that's another story. So anyway, I'm in the shop and I'm looking around and I see this one rifle that I've been curious about. You know, there's a bit of an intrigue. And I said to David there, I said, hey, can I have a look at that? And he said, yeah. And I'm checking it out and it's like, man, the bolt was just like butter. I shit you not. And it was Tikka smooth, but without the slop in the bolt. You know, when you withdraw that bolt in a Tikka, when you pull that bolt back in a Tikka and you rattle that bolt around, it's like a stick in a bucket. You know, they really are loose, those things. For all I know, I'm going to cop a whole heap of shit from Tikka fans, but it's true. The bolts are sloppy, right? That Turka, so it's an ATA Turqua. So ATA is famous for cheap shotguns out of Turkey, and they decided we'll make a centerfire rifle. And so this one's in 301. I put a deposit on it because I'm looking at it and I'm going, this is really nice. And then I'm cycling the bolt and I'm going, this is really, really nice. And then I pull the trigger. Yes, you pull the trigger. You don't squeeze it, you pull the trigger. That's why it's called trigger pull. And wow, I would be surprised if it was even 2 pounds. It felt like it was less than 2 pounds. It felt like I don't know, 1.5 pounds or something. The trigger, stock factory trigger. Like the Turks are the only rifle company in the world who will give you a reasonably weighted trigger that isn't a set trigger. You know, it's just straight single stage trigger, and it's a single stage trigger. You know what? I used to always prefer a single stage trigger, and then becoming a huge fan of Howard's two-stage triggers. This has got the best two-stage trigger of any rifle that I have ever shot. So anyway, that Turquoise is a mosquito is a one-stage trigger. You just squeeze it and it breaks. Yeah, pull the trigger. Yeah, whatever. This thing has got one of the best triggers, full stop, of any rifle. Two-stage. It's got this huge take-up, so you know exactly where you're at. You know exactly where you're at. You hit that wall. I mean, you can feel that wall, and then, you know, like 2 pounds, if that. I can't remember what the weight was again. You'll have to look at my other video, my first video of it. Yeah, that trigger on that Turquoise, ATA Turquoise, wow. Yeah, the best single stage factory trigger that isn't a set trigger that I've ever pulled. It was just, yeah, and I just went, that's all it took. That's all it took, just squeezing that trigger, because everything else, and David says to me, you know what, this rifle ticks a lot of boxes. And it does. And I haven't seen any bad reviews of it, but I haven't seen any independent reviews of it. Not really. Most of them being industry insider reviews. So, but I can't wait to get that rifle because it's in 308, which is a naturally accurate cartridge. An inherently accurate cartridge, it really is. So, and I've got a shitload of hand loads that I had left over, but I'm going to make some, probably make some better hand loads just for that thing. It might, with ADI factory ammo, it just might, like Buffalo River, it might shoot lights out straight up. So, I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see. But anyway, back to the subject at hand, which is the, I know people say that I carry on, they prattle on. This is what I do. I enjoy doing it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. All right. So anyway, more on this in a couple of weeks once I make some more loads with these projectiles. And until then, see you later.